Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm Babyface P. Today, we're starting the next build series. Get excited. I hinted about this on Instagram and on the YouTube community section, but today's the day. We're going to show off what's needed to get started on a 1903 A3 build. Go piece by piece. I'll show you guys what you need, kind of give you an idea of where to get some of it, and we'll go from there. So stay tuned. I'll bring you guys in a little closer. We'll talk about the objects on the table. This is the whole thing. This is a ready-to-build 1903 A3. So stay tuned. Let's get started on this. I'm really excited to have one again. All right, so you're ready to build the 1903 A3. What do you need? One, obviously you need a receiver. This one here, let me bring it in a little closer. Hold on. This one here is a US Remington 03A3. There, you can see the serial on it. This one is one of the old drill rifles. These were in stock on AIM Surplus and a bunch of other places for a long time. I don't think they're around any longer, but if you come across one of these, you'll hear old codgers tell you, don't ever build on that. It's all gonna be all messed up. That heat treat's all messed up. Don't listen to them. I've already built one of these. I've fired a lot of M2 ball through it. It's not gonna fail you. You'll be fine. So if you get your hands on one, this one was given to me. I sold off my other 1903 A3 that I built. And in the trade, I got this as well. So I also have an M1 Garand receiver in there that we gotta figure something out with. But this is the 1903 receiver. Beyond that, bring you guys back down. Barrel. You'll need some sort of barrel. And the nice thing about barrels is you can still get original .3 barrels. So there you go, you can see proof markings. Well, you can see the bomb marking made by Remington Arms in 9 of 43. So this is an original World War II barrel. They still can be had. They produced tons and tons of these things for the war effort. So these barrels are still out there. If by the time you're watching this, years from now, the barrel prices, these original barrels have dried up, Criterion makes a really good aftermarket barrel. This one in particular is a 4-groove barrel. I had the option of a 2-groove or a 4-groove. From what I understand, the 2 grooves shoot just as well as the 4 grooves, so if all you can find is a 2 groove, it's not gonna kill anything. That was just something they did to improve the speed that they could produce these. They made them a 2 groove instead of a 4 groove. I had the option to get a 4 groove, so why not get a 4 groove? But realistically, this should a 2 groove and a 4 groove will shoot pretty much the same groups. You only get stock. Again, there are boatloads of these around if you want to pay the premium. This one here came from Sarco, Numrich, whatever you want to call them. This was this one was considered a, they had 2 levels. They had a brand new old stock level, which was in perfect shape, which was like 180 at the time of this filming. They also had these, which were, they had issues. There were cracks, they're broken, something was wrong with them, for $80. And you know us here at this channel, we're not paying full price, so we got the $80 one. Turns out the only issue was, I'll bring it up close so you can see, hold on. The only issue was that right there. So you can see that that piece was cracked out and it was taped on when I got it. So off camera, I just did a little bit of fixing on this. Took some Acraglass, glued it back in place, sanded it in so it fits, and we'll do a little bit of final fitting at the end. But there will always be this crack running down the side. Not a big deal. This is going to be a shooter grade gun. This is not a collector's grade gun. So there you go. There's your stock. You will also need an upper handguard. These things are another thing that are, at the time of this filming, still very prolific. They must have made millions of these, hundreds of thousands of these. I guess this was something that would break somewhat often. So this is a new old stock that I also got from Numrich when I bought this. This was like $25, not too bad. Beyond that, the last and probably most controversial thing is the small parts. Let me switch lenses so I can bring you in closer to the small parts and show you what I have. This is a Sarco small parts kit. I'll show you, just give me a second. All right, new lens brings you in a little bit closer so you can see what we have here. So this is the small parts kit that you can, at the time of filming, you could still get from Sarco. When I got this receiver, it came with a bolt. The bolt, I think, is R-marked somewhere on here. This bolt is actually marked BF. 37 maybe? I'll have to look deeper to see where this bolt comes from, but I already had a bolt. I have another bolt over there because they give those things away like candy. You will get a bolt packed in grease. You will get all of your springs and stuff packed in grease. These are original, obviously marked still from the original packaging like World War II. You will get your firing pin in grease, original. This is a butt plate. I think this is one of the original style flat butt plates, all marked in grease. Front handguard, retainer, bayonet lug, slash bayonet lug in grease. You're seeing a trend here, lots of grease. Let's see, I think this is the actual firing pin. Yeah, so the actual firing pin in grease. All your trigger components, your magazine housing spring, your magazine follower, your ejector, all of this, there's your safety stuff. All of this is original. The stacking swivel, original. Here's where it gets controversial when it comes to Sarco. All of that, new old stock, ready to go. These four components are new production. These are not original. This sling swivel has an R marking, but again, I don't believe it's original. These do come in a little bag saying they come from another country. This comes in a little bag saying it comes from India. This one has no markings. From what I know, this is all aftermarket. So if you want your gun to be perfectly original, you will need to get these off of eBay. That's what I ended up doing. I picked up a new bottom metal, well, a new old stock bottom metal, a new rear sight, and the two slings that are period correct. So those are going to be going in as replacements. But for now, we will use this to get started. These are the expensive things. Sights, for whatever reason, super pricey. They're like 60, 70, 80 bucks on eBay. So that's why they use reproduction. If you just want a shooter grade gun, not anything that has any collector's value, which again, this might not have any collector's value to you anyways because it's a rebuild, this will work fine. All of this stuff works fine. I'm just picky and I wanted some original World War II stuff. I wanted a bottom metal that was marked with an R. I wanted slings that were American made, and I wanted a sight that was American made. And I dug around eBay for a week or so, waiting for things to pop up, and I got them when they're at a good price. So that's what you get. Most of this is going to be original. Most of it. These four and maybe some of these screws. I can't tell you for sure if these screws are original. Screws do tend to be one of those things that get stripped and go bad. These may be reproductions. Screws don't bother me as much as having the correct upper and lower pieces. So that's what you need. That is everything you need. Beyond that, you need the tooling and you need the time. So tool-wise, let me move this out of the way and I'll show you tool-wise what you will need. One sec. Last thing up, you will need, when these barrels come in, if you get one of these old stock barrels, they come short chambered. They're not finish chambered. They would be finish reamed at the factory when they got fully assembled. They'd finish ream it, test fire it, send it off to the troops. So to put this on, you will need gauges, a full set of gauges. So I bought these years ago off of eBay. They are very old. If you want to see how old they are, they originally went to whoever this was. And I kept the advertising that was in the box because I just thought it was really cool. Super old Redford reamers. I'm sorry, not the reamers. Redford headspace gauges. Really cool. Originally, they were $1.50 each. Super cool. So I kept the paperwork. So there's nothing wrong with them. They work perfectly well as long as you take good care of them. They will last you a literal lifetime. So I have those. And I went hardcore and bought a 30-06 chamber reamer. This is new production from PTG, Pacific Tool and Gauge. Probably one of the best companies out there for this type of stuff. It'll need to get cleaned and degreased and then re-oiled when we use it. This is a floating pilot chamber remover. This thing worked wonderful last time. So the last thing you need if you want to build an M1 Garand or a 1903 Springfield, well, specifically the Springfield, you'll need a way of attaching these two parts. Bring this in the frame. You will need a way of attaching the barrel to the receiver. These have to be torqued in, and when we go over this in the fitting video, I'll show you more about this, but basically on these old stock barrels, they have lines, and there's a line here. That's top dead center. When those two line up, you know the head, everything is top dead center down the whole gun. When you first put this on, this shoulder right here will be too long. So what happens, let me put it together and I'll show you. Hopefully you guys can see those two dots. Let me bring it up a little closer. Okay. So when you first put it together, you'll see there's a line there and a line right there. Those two, to make this torqued properly, should be about 5 degrees apart. Right now they're probably 15 degrees apart. So what we'll have to do is take this into the lathe, cut that shoulder back a little bit until you get about 5 degrees of separation, 3 to 5. Then you use your barrel vise, clamp it in, and torque this down. Line those two lines up, and then you know everything is straight down the center. So how do you do that? We'll talk about it when we get to that video. When we work on that, we'll discuss this further. So that's all you need. That's pretty much it. It's really simple. You got everything you need to build this gun, and they're not hard. They're very simple machines. As long as you got the parts and the tools, you can put it together in an afternoon, and the know-how and skill. So what we're gonna do, we are going to go step by step. This will only be about 4 videos long. We're going to get this barreled action together. We will chamber it. We will build it on the small parts. We will fit it to the stock, and we will test fire it. Once we know that it fires, it's good, it's chambered correctly, it works well, it doesn't blow up in our face, we will redo the stock. We'll take the stock back apart, sand it down to the proper spec, which I think was 180 grit, stain it, and oil it, bring it to what it should look like originally. That's it. That's the build. Get ready, guys. I am very excited for this. I did one of these probably about say about 6 or 8 years ago. I built one of these by hand with no tools. So it's a lot harder, but it can be done without a lathe. I'll show you guys when we get to that video, but stay tuned. Those videos will be coming out shortly. Stay tuned, guys. All right, leave me a comment. Leave me a comment. If nothing else, leave me a comment. I read through all of them. Tell me how excited you are for this. Tell me what else you guys can find parts kit-wise that we can build. We have more on the way. So this is our next one. So get ready, boys, and the couple girls that watch. I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.